Greetings everyone, welcome to my channel. Today is a crazy day. Today is a crazy anniversary of a crazy day. It's the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And 2001, September 11, 2001, I have a story I will never forget. In the wake of Aaliyah's passing, which was like a week and a half beforehand, on August 25th of that same year, her plane crashed, right? And so, yeah, 9/11 comes up, overshadows Aaliyah's passing, of course, because far more people died, and it became far more a tragic event in that crazy year. So I was working for, I was 24 years old, working for Greyhound. That was my highest paying gig prior to Uber. And Greyhound, the way that Greyhound operates is that they send us to, when you're new to the service, they have you on what's called the extra board, and then they send you to wherever they need you to go to at a moment's notice once you check in for work. Once you're fresh, and they call you in, and they tell you where they're going to send you. So 2010, September 10th, the night before, I think I reported to work at around like 7. No, I'm sorry. I got to Sacramento like at 10 o'clock at night, so that was like about, that was a 9-hour drive from LA. And I had like 2 stops. There was Fresno, Bakersfield, and then there was a layover stop, a break stop over at Killeen Junction off of the 5. So I think I checked into work. Maybe like about 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm getting older, so my memory's not exactly as perfect as it used to be. And so you get the gist. So I think I grabbed a bite to eat over at the Burger King, which was always a free meal for drivers. But I always had to. I couldn't eat anything heavy because it would have affected me while I was driving. So I got something light, and then I was anticipating getting something else to eat when I got into Sacto. But it was so late. All that was open was Jack in the Box restaurant. So I got my usual burger there, turkey burger. It was a turkey burger at the time. That was back in my old eating habits. I ate really differently than I do now, and so that's another story for another day. Same channel. So Greyhound put me to bed. They had taxied me to the hotel, sent me on a taxi to the hotel, and then the hotel was a Ramada Inn. Greyhound always took care of our hotels. They gave us a credit card, and that hotel was always my favorite because of the breakfast that they served. It was all you can eat breakfast, and back then, every time I went there, I picked out. I got the eggs, got the bacon and the stuff, the pancakes. It was all you can eat, so I just made myself at home. I don't do that no more. Like I said, the name of the channel is what it is for a reason. Another story. So my fresh time came 9 hours later. I think I woke up at around 8 o'clock that morning. Greyhound hadn't called, so I just sat there with the air conditioner full blast, laid in bed, and just enjoyed the hotel. Had no idea what was going on in the other part of the world. And so I got tired of waiting and got myself up. After I had breakfast, and then called the hotel just to see what they had planned for me. And the dispatcher said Greyhound I called Greyhound to see what they had planned for me. So my dispatcher said, "Hey, aren't you watching the news? Aren't you aware of what's going on?" I'm like, "No, what's going on? What's going on?" He was like, "Quick, turn on the news. We'll get back to you. We're trying to figure things out right now. It's a mess. It's a mess. We'll get back to you." So I was like, "Okay." I hung up the phone and I ran over to the TV to see what he was stressing about. And just as I turned on the TV, the second plane struck the World Trade Center. And I was like, what in the world? I didn't know. I was stunned in disbelief when I saw that. I was like, this is crazy. And then as I was watching that report and that insanity break out, the towers fell. I just kept shaking my head. And then I called my mother, called my parents to see how they were doing, see if they saw what I was seeing, and it was just craziness. And so about 3 o'clock in that afternoon, Greyhound called me and gave me my 2 hours notice to go ahead and be at the terminal at 5:30 in Sacramento. They needed people to help divert traffic from the airport, and so there was a whole bunch of people that were scheduled to fly into Seattle and Portland that they couldn't make their connections, and so they had to divert and go and travel by bus, and so that overflooded the bus terminal in Sacto. And so being that those two destinations were past my drive time, I could only drive them to Reading, and then another driver would have to take over from Reading to their destinations. And so I was strictly, for 3 days, I was shuttling people from Reading, from Sacramento to Reading, and then going to bed in Reading, and then coming back. No, first I only went to bed the first night. Then the second and third night, they had me going back to Sacramento. Once I got back to Sacramento on the third night, that's when they sent me home on cushion. I rode on cushion the entire way back. But I'll never forget the people that was taken to Reading the first night. They kept complaining about how cold it was on the bus, because it being Greyhound, us drivers, we keep the air conditioner on for a reason, and me, I like it nice and cold, and so I have that air conditioner on full blast, and I especially had it on because the buses weren't cleaned. They literally took the buses off of the previous trip, ran them over to the service station real quick, put fuel in them, and then sent them back on because they had to get people out of that terminal quickly. And so there was no time for them to get a proper cleaning, maintenance, service, whatever. They had to just go. And so when I got to the station, my bus was just ready to go. It was just, the driver was like, "Here's the keys. Have at it. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy dealing with this crowd of people, this crazy crowd of people." It was a wild crowd of people. And like I said, they complain about everything because they're used to airplanes. Airplanes, everything is ideal and comfortable, and Greyhound is not as perfect as that. So okay, so that was that. I got home, but sometime later, like I said, that was a crazy year for the entire country, including for everyone, and also on Greyhound. 2001, Greyhound, our drivers got attacked by the... one thing I never forget is going to go see two movies the weekend of 9/11, and both movies I had been wanting to go see for like the longest time, and both of them flopped. And those two movies were AI, Artificial Intelligence, and Mariah Carey's Glitter, which caused her to have a nervous breakdown. Those are 9/11 movies. They opened up that weekend. It's crazy, and they did terribly. I don't know. And those theaters were both empty too. I was able to stretch my legs and stand up in the theater. But I only got 7 minutes left before my phone stops recording. Okay, so that year, Greyhound's drivers were also being attacked by people that were they decided to ride the bus, and they weren't I guess they were suicidal or something. And so a number of drivers were slit. Yeah, they were attacked. Their throats were slit while they were driving, and no buses that Greyhound had. None of Greyhound's buses have seatbelts, and so the buses flew off the road, flipped over, and quite a number of people died or got seriously injured because they don't have seatbelts. They still don't have seatbelts, and so several incidences like that happened, and that almost happened to me. Thankfully, it did not, because Greyhound has started doing two things to prevent that from happening. They started they had plans for the acrylic safety door to come into place to be installed. While I was with them, they hadn't yet installed that. They installed that the year after I left, and that was 2002. I was only there for 1 year, and so the safety measures that we had to work with when I was there were they had put a second line on the ground saying that nobody can pass that point. We already had a yellow line, which everybody had to stay behind while the bus was in motion. But if they crossed the additional, there was a white line there. Also, if they crossed that white line, we had to pull over and get them off the bus. And so we made our announcements, Bill, saying that what the rules were from that point. And also, Greyhound implemented baggage checkpoints at the doors of the buses at all terminals. They weren't able to do it at flag stops. We had stops that people would wave us down, or there'd be stops that looked like bus stops, and there weren't people to check bags there. So we had to trust people, that they were safe to get on the bus regardless. Last I heard, they eliminated the flag stop, so it's strictly bus terminals. So they had baggage screeners and security guards check buses and check bags and stuff like that before loading the passengers on, and confiscating box cutters and knives and whatnot. But however, one time this one passenger got on a bus coming out of Modesto, and he apparently snuck one on somehow, and somebody else that also boarded the bus, was keeping an eye on him, and he came up to me to tell me what was going on. At first this person was kind of joking around, making small talk, and he kept crossing the line. I'm like, dude, why are you crossing the line? If you cross that line, that second line, if you cross that line again, I'm going to throw you off the bus. He was like, driver, I'm so sorry, I won't do that again. And then I was like, thank you. Please step back behind the line. He was like, okay, no problem. But he did it 1/3 time. And he was like, driver, I apologize, but there's a guy back there waving a knife around in front of kids' faces, and he's like making a bunch of us nervous and whatnot. I don't feel safe. And so I was like, okay, thank you for letting me know. And I told the guy I was going to pull over. Don't say anything to anyone back there. I'm going to pull over and call the cops. And so I did exactly that. And the sheriff showed up and asked me what did I want to do with this person. I said, I don't care what you do with them. Take them, get them off the bus and take them to Delano. I don't care. Delano. It's the last stop I want to. Get him out of here. And they asked for his luggage. And normally we don't reach for luggage like that. We'll tell them it's waiting for them in L.A. or their destination. And because there's a lot of bags that we have to sort through, but I went ahead and looked for his bag. I'll never forget his name. Is Mike Jackson. He's a white guy named Mike Jackson. And when they found him on the bus, he was pinned up. He had a gorgeous black goddess that he had pinned up to the window. He was like leaning on her, breathing or something, and she was like visibly uncomfortable. So I'm glad that the sheriff came when they did. You had to get him out of there, to get him away from her. And they found the knife underneath the child, sitting nearby. After the guy told him he had thrown the knife into the toilet in the back, and so they quickly got him off the bus and on his way. I'll never forget that. Crazy story. So if you have any crazy stories like that, if you have it, please share with me your memories of 2001, 9/11 in general, 9/11 mainly. But if you let me know what you think about this video and stories that you remember. Where were you when 9/11 happened? Thank you for watching this video. Hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video. When you like the video, you help me out. Check out my Patreon page. If you don't see it right now, I'll be setting it up soon. So if it's a link there for Patreon, check that out. This video wouldn't happen without you. I mean, this my ability to post and yeah. So I thank you for your support. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And never forget September 11th, 2001, especially.